Hello, lovely. I'm Maria.
And my name is Rory, and we are the hosts of the IELTS Speaking for Success podcast, the podcast that aims to help you improve your speaking skills as well as your listening skills along the way.
We've started this podcast to give you gorgeous grammar and fabulous vocabulary for your English life and for your high IELTS score. Which Rory score?
It is your Band 9 score.
Band 9 score. Rory, are you gonna watch this big football match later today?
Not really. I don't have time to watch sports much these days.
Shall we talk about sports anyway?
I don't think we have a choice, do we?
Oh, these coincidences, Rory. We should do something about them. I don't think they're funny anymore.
I think they're funny.
You think they're funny, right? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is free podcasts, right? If you want the good quality comedy writing, then you'll need to pay for our premium. Where the humor is possibly even more contrived.
Yeah, quality jokes are in the premium episodes, dear listener. So this week in part 2 premium, Rory is describing something that was broken in his home and then repaired. Something got repaired. He first broke it and then he repaired it. And in Speaking Part 3, we're discussing repairing things. In the description of this episode, you can find a link that will take you to a list of all platforms where you can find our premium episodes. Click the link and do check out our premium. So, sports again. Yes, dear listener, if you're wondering, so why they are talking about sports again? Because we've talked about sport before. So IELTS people are recycling certain topics. Recycling is like rubbish, so you recycle rubbish, and IELTS people recycle IELTS speaking topics. That's why it's a comeback for this topic, and now in IELTS Speaking Part 1, they can ask you questions about sports. Rory, sporty Rory. So today Rory is gonna be our sporty Rory. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's talk about sports. Do you like sports?
Probably not as much as some people, but I keep abreast of the biggest matches when I can. I think I prefer doing sports and, doing exercise more than actually watching either of them happen.
Do you like watching sports programs on TV?
Well, like I said, it's not really my thing unless it's something major, like, I don't know, my own country or city playing against another team. And even then, I only really have a look in the passing. I don't have a great deal of time for it these days.
Do you like to watch live games?
Oh, I think the last time I did that was when I was a child. Getting tickets to these events and then actually getting to them can be a bit expensive and demanding. Especially now, there's always, there are crowds anyway, but it's quite crowded. And then the general atmosphere is not something I want to be part of at the moment.
Who do you like to watch sports games with? Who?
I suppose whenever I do, it's usually my parents, since they'll have them on TV. Though sometimes my friends and I discuss matches and their aftermath from time to time.
What kinds of games will you watch in the future?
That's a very good question. Some esports are getting quite popular these days, though it's debatable whether or not they count. But certainly if there were people that were playing a game that I liked online, as unlikely as that is, then I would probably watch it.
Did you do any sports when you were younger?
To varying extents, yes. But I distinctly recall not being a big fan of the experience or experiences, to be honest with you. I wasn't a very sporty child.
Do you do any sports these days?
I exercise these days. I don't think that's the same as doing sports like rugby, which is it's organised and competitive.
Thank you, Rory, for your answers. So they kept us in a good shape. Right, okay.
Thank you for giving me a sporting chance. Sorry, that was a terrible pun, but never mind.
So, sports. Now, we do sports. What else do we do with sports, apart from doing it? So we do
sports, play sports, participate in sports, compete in. maybe not compete
Yep.
in sports, but compete in sporting competitions or tournaments. Go on tour.
Do we say sports or sport?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Rory was saying that he does exercise now, right? So he doesn't do any sports, but he does exercise. But what about these martial arts? So now you're into martial arts thing.
Oh, yeah,
What
I
is
do
it?
that, don't I?
Karate?
Is that a sport,
Jiu-jitsu?
though, or is that just for general fitness? I didn't think about that when I was answering, actually.
Oh, I have no idea. So if you are into karate or boxing, or I think it's kind of sport, right? So
Oh, yeah, it's a
anyway, you
contact
can mention
sport.
it. Contact sports, yeah. So, or you can say like, okay, I'm into martial arts. I do karate, so we do karate. And Rory, you do jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Which is almost the same thing, except karate is offensive and jiu-jitsu is defensive. But I don't think I'm terribly proficient in it. My coach would definitely agree.
So when the examiner asks you if you like sports, you say, I keep abreast of the biggest matches.
We've heard that
I think
one
we've
before.
talked about it
Keep
before,
abreast of
yeah,
things.
but this is so strange. I keep abreast? What? It's like
You keep abreast of the
abreast.
news. Keep abreast of the news. Keep up to date.
Oh, come on. This is so strange. It's abreast.
Fine then, be boring
Like a
and say
woman's
keep
breast.
up to date with the latest matches. But if you want to sound band 90 or band 80, then I keep abreast of the latest developments.
Yeah, of the latest matches, of the biggest matches like football matches, right? And Rory, I thought that all British people, maybe Scottish people, also enjoy football. You guys, you watch football, so it's a big thing. So you didn't sound too enthusiastic about all that. So you're kind of not into the game, not into this footy.
I don't have time to be into it. I have work to do. I have a university course to complete. Even if I'd had the free time, I wouldn't be doing that. I would be reading. I need to read. I like reading.
So no footy, good old footy, football. So, wow.
You must
work
stop.
and reading. Okay, right. So, when the examiner asks you, do you like watching sports programs on TV? So we watch them on TV. You can say, well, it's not really my thing. I don't have a TV. Or you can say, okay, I watch them on YouTube, for example. Here, can I say that it's not my cup of tea? Or would it be a bit strange?
You seem to be
old-fashioned?
determined to get people to say it's not my cup of tea.
No. I prefer it's not my thing. I think it sounds a bit more natural. It's not really my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah. I hate, hate is a strong word. I just like it when people say it's not my cup of tea.
You like it?
I don't. I think it's really contrived.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Yeah. So let's avoid this. If it's not something that you do, you say, okay, it's not really my thing. Right, so
Yeah.
do you do sports? It's not really my thing.
Then again, maybe people will start using in a nutshell again. And because of me. So I shouldn't be too harsh on people who insist on saying it's not my cup of tea because it's something they like.
Let's set the trend.
It's the trend.
Everybody now says quality. Okay, so quality here,
I put
quality
a question on
there,
Instagram the other
quality.
day, and so many people replied with quality. It was quite quality. Quality.
Yeah. So you see, we are the trend setters. We set the trends and people follow. Quality. Okay, and tell us about this. I only really have a look in the passing.
That's just like
Also,
when
we've
I
had it
pass
before.
by. I don't actually. Do you know what's funny? I don't even know if this is an expression that other people use or if it's just one that I use. But in the passing is just. It's not like it's not what you're there for. It's like you're passing by and you just happen to notice this. You hear things in the passing, you see things in the passing. That's what my understanding of it is. But I've never heard anyone else say it. That's the thing.
When you talk about games, your country can play against another team. So that's the expression, right? So my country, I usually watch games when my country is playing against another team. When you watch sports, you can watch live games. So we spell it like live, but we say live games. So live sports, live games on TV or on YouTube, right? Or somewhere else, I don't know. And you can use this like I used to do something when I was a child. So, yeah. Rory sometimes watches sports with his friends and discusses their aftermath. Aftermath?
Yes, the aftermath is just, well, to be honest with you, the aftermath is usually used to describe something negative, like what happens after a disaster. However, it can also just mean what happens after a large event. So a football match would be, or a major football match would be quite a good example.
Yeah, so you discuss aftermath. You talked about esports. That's interesting. So like esports, like what? Like e-football? So people, I don't know, what do? They play a computer game or they play football virtually inside their computers, or e-skating, esports, electronic
Pretty much,
sports.
yeah. Anything that people, well, it's like anything connected to a video game that you can watch people playing with each other in order to win is counted as esports. Although, even against a computer, if they're playing that, then that would be an esport too. The key thing is, it's about video games and being competitive.
You said that, so do you like watching sports on TV? And you say, well, it's not really my thing unless it's something major, like my country playing against another team. Tell us about this unless thing, because unless might be tricky to use.
Yeah, so it's like saying, how best to describe unless? It's like a conditional structure, isn't it? It's just like in reverse. So when we compare a negative thing to a positive thing, or vice versa, it's not really my thing in general, unless, meaning here's the exception to the rule, it's something major.
Yeah.
I don't like bananas unless they're on fire away from me.
Yeah, there we go. Also, another good structure is starting your sentence with ing verbs. So, for example, getting tickets is a bit expensive, right? Doing sports is great, right? Or watching live games is with your friends is exciting because blah, blah, blah. So you start your sentence with ing. And also, in the last question, Rory said that some esports are getting popular. Present continuous. Why is this present continuous used here, Rory? Tell us, what's the rule?
It's talking about what's happening now. Like, in this modern time.
Yes, like esports are getting more popular, or something is getting more and more popular. More people are watching live games, right? Or more people are watching games online rather than going to the stadiums, right? So when you talk about a change, also you can talk about a change, a weather change. Oh, it's getting darker, it's getting warmer, or it's getting colder. What about, could you comment on the weather status in Scotland?
Oh, I hope it's getting warmer, but I'm much more concerned about my holiday in Italy in a couple of weeks' time.
All right, Rory's going to Italy. Oh, how lovely.
I am, yes, and we have so much recording to do between now and then. It's ridiculous, so thank you for being very understanding.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we'll,
See you next time.
We love you, hug you, and listen to our next episode soon. Bye.
Bye.
Do you like sports?
Probably not as much as some people, but I keep abreast of the biggest matches when I can. I think I prefer doing sports and, well, doing exercise more than actually watching either of them happen.
Do you like watching sports programs on TV?
Well, like I said, it's not really my thing unless it's something major, like, I don't know, my own country or city playing against another team. And even then, I only really have a look in the passing. I don't have a great deal of time for it these days.
Do you like to watch live games?
Oh, I think the last time I did that was when I was a child. Getting tickets to these events and then actually getting to them can be a bit expensive and demanding. Especially now, there's always, there are crowds anyway, but it's quite crowded. And then the general atmosphere is not something I want to be part of at the moment.
Who do you like to watch sports games with? Who?
I suppose whenever I do, it's usually my parents, since they'll have them on TV. Though sometimes my friends and I discuss matches and their aftermath from time to time.
What kinds of games will you watch in the future?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Some esports are getting quite popular these days, though it's debatable whether or not they count. But certainly, if there were people that were playing a game that I liked online, as unlikely as that is, then I would probably watch it.
Did you do any sports when you were younger?
To varying extents, yes. But I distinctly recall not being a big fan of the experience or experiences, to be honest with you. I wasn't a very sporty child.
Do you do any sports these days?
I exercise these days. I don't think that's the same as doing sports like rugby, which is like it's organized and competitive.